Every MiCA conversation quietly revolves around one question. What exactly are you in the eyes of regulators? In this topic, we'll turn your project into a simple MiCA profile so you can steer strategy, funding, and product decisions with clear regulatory insight. MiCA can be a cost center you fear or a lever you use. This course is about turning dense regulation into concrete strategic choices that protect your downside and unlock real upside. MiCA strategy really comes down to four simple questions. What kinds of tokens are involved? Which regulated activities do you actually perform? Who are your users, retail, institutional, or mixed? And in which jurisdictions do you operate? Together, these answers quietly determine your obligations, your options, and your negotiating power. Think of the one-page MiCA profile as your company's regulatory X-ray. In a single view, it shows what tokens you touch, which services you run, who you serve, and what makes you complex. Leadership, legal, and product can all work from the same picture, updated as the business evolves. Whenever you look at a crypto project under MiCA, start with the token. Is it mainly a ticket to use a product? Then you're in utility territory. Does it promise stability based on a basket of assets? That points to an ART. Does it mirror a single currency like the euro? That's an EMT. Everything else, like many NFTs or DeFi tokens, sits in gray space regulators are still defining. Labels don't impress MiCA. Activities do. Are you holding customer assets, matching trades, routing orders, or giving tailored advice? Each activity can trigger different obligations. Getting this service mapping right is the foundation of your regulatory strategy. Your one-page MiCA profile becomes a shared language. Regulators use it to see instantly which rules really matter for you. Investors use it to judge scalability, risk, and seriousness. Internal teams use it to align product ideas with legal reality. When all three read the same concise story, decisions speed up, misunderstandings shrink, and your roadmap becomes much easier to defend. Supervisors zoom in when your project looks like it could scale risk quickly. Three patterns do that: users in many countries, heavy retail marketing, and any promise of yield or earn returns. Combine these, and you should expect deeper questions, tougher requirements, and slower approvals. MiCA also reacts strongly to what look like tiny product tweaks. Turn on an earn feature, and you may suddenly look like an investment product with much heavier rules. Lean into aggressive social marketing, and you invite strict consumer protection scrutiny. Expand from one EU country to several, and you move into cross-border supervision. So every feature, campaign, and market choice deserves a regulatory impact check. MiCA doesn't say no risk. It says know your risk, then manage it. As a leader, you're mainly combining ingredients. Retail users plus yield plus a stablecoin starts to look like a product regulators will treat as high impact. By contrast, utility-style features and professional investors usually lower the temperature. Your job is to spot this pattern early and decide: redesign, de-risk, or resource up. When MiCA creates a roadblock, leaders really have three moves. First, sequence your ambition. Launch in a single, regulator-friendly member state, prove the model, then expand using the EU passport. Second, partner. Plug into a licensed issuer or CASP instead of building everything yourself. Third, pause. Park higher risk features like yield until you have the right license and controls. Eurochain's pivot is a good example of strategic restraint. Instead of launching a complex, high-yield product into unclear regulation, they delay yield, narrow their footprint to one member state, and lean on a licensed e-money institution. Risk doesn't disappear, but it becomes understandable, supervisable, and bankable. That's how you turn too many red flags into a credible MiCA story. Now turn this into a short, concrete project. First, sketch your one-page MiCA profile so everyone sees the same picture. Next, agree on the 3 biggest red flags for your business. Then, run a leadership session to classify initiatives as green, yellow, or red. Finally, sit with legal or external counsel to sanity check your conclusions and set next steps. Treat your MiCA self-classification as a living profile, not a one-off document. Feed it into your product roadmap so every new feature asks, does this change our token or CASP profile? Use it in regulatory reviews to have adult, forward-looking conversations with supervisors. Reuse it for market expansion, showing partners and investors you understand your risk perimeter and manage it deliberately. MiCA isn't just about staying out of trouble. Once you clearly classify your tokens and services, you make it easier for partners, banks, and regulators to say yes. Know your risks, align your roadmap, and let compliance become part of your competitive story.